everyone, and welcome back to my channel. What the Beck. I kind of disappeared on you, and my instinct is to say sorry, but my awakened mind tells me to just say I'm back, because everything that happened was kind of necessary. But I did want to kind of explain why I went away for a little bit and what's coming up. Because I am now ready to post again, and for those of you who like my videos and were wondering what the heck happened, yeah, I just want to let you know. So basically, I had said in a previous video, actually the one where I decorated this room, I think, that I was going to have an operation in September. That is part of what happened, but it's not all of it. Basically, leading up to my surgery, I was having a lot of just like anxiousness and feeling like I had so much to do beforehand and not feeling like I had enough time to do it before surgery. There's a lot of things that happen when you have a surgery like I did, where your mobility is impacted and you can't do chores, which is one of the things that I do a lot of in my house. And yeah, so I had basically converted this downstairs living room area into a bedroom for myself, because it's on the first floor. I could get to it easily. I could get to the kitchen if I needed to eat. I could get to a restroom if I needed to rest. So basically, I was focused so much on getting this room ready, and I was very anxious. And while I had a bunch of content lined up to be able to quickly, you know, edit and post, that didn't end up happening. So I wish I could have had those coming out for you, but it didn't happen. So all that being said, I did have my surgery. It went great. It went perfectly. I'm -1 organ and +1 gender, so that's fun. But basically, I feel now that I'm ready to get going again, get posting. I was a little worried about like how much I have to do to rejoin society and be a person who goes to work and does art and keeps up with the house and stuff like that. But I'm just taking it a step at a time. I have all my little ADHD friendly apps to help me do it, and I am now clear to go back on my Adderall, which I wasn't when I was on specific pain medication. I'm now off that medication, and the Adderall is my superpower, so it helps me do the things I was already gonna do, but much faster and with less of a motivation hurdle. So yeah, anyways, all that to say, I have some very old content filmed that I will still be putting out because I still worked on them and I still had lots of fun making them. They're just gonna be things like, you know, we went here for Labor Day and it is now October. So I hope you'll still enjoy watching those, and I wanted to also show you some of the things I've been working on when I've been recovering, because that was one of the things I was looking forward to, is just being able to finish a bunch of things and, you know, make some new things. So I have literally a whole trunk of stuff. I'm still not allowed to lift things, so I'll have to move you. There's a trunk of items that I'm ready to show you. Are you ready to see them? It's basically, I had a little bit of a, again, like a little hurdle to get back into crocheting and knitting because I was on medication that made me a little loopy. I couldn't control my like hand-eye coordination as much. That was kind of a pain, but one of my friends was helping take care of me, and we made a bunch of fursuit candy. I'll put a picture of that in here because those are currently in storage right now until the convention we're going to. But yeah, that was a really good activity. So if you're ever like having a big operation or you're like need to stay in bed, I really recommend making candy or fursuit size candy, because, you know, it was fun, it was quick, and if I needed to fall asleep halfway through, I didn't lose count of like my stitches or anything because it was just beads. But yeah, we did that. I also, oh, this one was fun because this is, I'm gonna call it my 3-day sweater. I'm just waiting until I have a day to commit to doing the sleeve, because basically what I did is I used like Aran weight yarn and just knitted straight up a plain like sweater. I did it in the round up to the armpits, and then I did a front and back flap. I think I did like the round part and the front flap on one day. I did a sleeve and the back flap and collar on another day, and then I need to pick a day where I'm just gonna do the second sleeve, and then I'm gonna do some like crochet slip stitch fake cables up the front so that it's a little more interesting than this, but it was really easy to knit while I was recovering because again I didn't have to keep track of stitch counts or look at charts or anything. So there's that one. This is also part of my like my quest to become like a garden gnome. That wasn't the word I meant. Like, I like a little elf guy, a little guy that lives in the forest and, you know, wears brown and green and orange, and, you know, it's also fall, so it's the perfect time to be using this kind of color. Baby is sneezing over there, but yeah, there's that. I also had these kind of like pink lemonade looking yarns in my stash for a while, and again, I wanted easy things to do, so I went ahead and just made a baby blanket. This was just use the yarn that I had until it ran out. And I will be able to donate this to Baltimore Safe Haven, which is one of my local LGBT charities. So they'll be able to get it to someone who needs it. I worked a lot on the Van Gogh sweater that I'm making for my sibling for Christmas. I don't have that one right here with me, but I'll put a picture. And that one is pretty much, again, like a sleeve plus a little bit off of being done the base sweater, and then again I'm gonna do like slip stitch detailing on that to make it painterly and look like Starry Night. But the thing that's kind of been consuming me for the past week or so has been making things to sell at Howard County Pride, at which I am a vendor yet again. So if you've seen me there before, I will be there again, and you can get some goodies. These are not going to be in any specific order just because they're all shoved in this bin, but I made a bunch of plushies and other things. I made this Trans Pride scarf, like so. I also made this rainbow one, which is kind of done in a alternate method to how you normally would. Usually you would work back and forth across the width of the scarf, but I just went for the length and did regular knit stitches, and I feel like it kind of looks not like a cable, but it has a similar effect to a cable where it, like the pattern is running vertically. And this only took 2 skeins of chunky, like Bernat chunky yarn that I've had in my stash for forever, and I like how it came out. So there's that one. Then we have some little guys. These are possums. They're just free-handed little guys with feet and tails, and I made one of these for a Pride event in June, and he sold pretty much right away. So I was like, okay, trans people like possums, so I made 2 more. I might make another one depending on what I feel like. I'm trying to just go with the flow with these, because again, my business runs on making unique items, and I don't want to just have 30 of each of 5 items at my booth. Not that that's how it's gonna look, because I have a bunch of stock built up, but my plushie stock in particular I needed to refill. So 2 possums. I made a rat, again free-handed. I really love this guy. I just got this yarn literally like 2 or 3 days ago, and I've already turned it into a rat. So that's in the stash, out of the stash within a week. That's a plus in my book. And he's really cool. Just a little gay rat. I like him. Another scarf here. This is a Pan Pride scarf. These 2 were actually made with scraps from mandala cakes, because a while back I was pretty obsessed with them, and I wanted to make a bunch of blankets because one of the designers I follow makes really cool blankets with mandala. But at this point I don't want to make like a bunch of blankets with DK weight yarn, so I decided to use up the like stripes from the color, and they won't necessarily have been from the same mandala cake, but I basically just color corrected and was like, okay, you're blue, I'm using you for 2 rows, and then pick another cake that had pink on the outside, and use that. So there's those. People really like those, but they're not like the most fun to make for me. And this taught me that the mandala yarn is a little bit too thin to use for scarves. I usually use a little bit of a thicker yarn, but we know that now for the future. We got some more plushies here. We've got a bear. This was designed by Complicated Knots, and I made it with trans colors, and I double stranded for that cool effect. So if any trans bears are at Pride, they can come get one. Also made this crazy psychedelic, it looks like an alien because of the way the ears keep falling down, but it's meant to be a bunny. And again, this is just free-handed little guy with the tail and squishy head. I also completely got rid of my yarn end stash by making plushies. That's one of the things I noticed is like my yarn end jar was so full I had to keep pushing it down, and I was like, bruh, just make some plushies. So I made plushies and put the yarn ends in them as part of the stuffing. We've also got a little fall creation here, a little pumpkin. This is using up blanket yarn. When I made my how many rats can I do in a day video, I said that I don't typically use blanket yarn, and that is still true because it kind of hurts my hands to use it for too long. So I had a whole ball of this orange, so I made a pumpkin, and I'm considering making a fox or something with the rest. But I kind of have a few super jumbo plushies, and I try not to have too many of them at my booth at once, just because they use up a lot of space in the bins. But yeah, a little pumpkin. Hopefully somebody will like this and take it home. And then I went on a bug making kick, so I made a classic, a little bee. This is free-handed, but I'm pretty sure that the pattern is straight up just like the Happy Berry bee one, but it's like, okay, you make a circle and then make stripes and then close it off, and then I free-handed some wings, but just a little gay bee. Hello, baby. I wasn't calling you, I was calling the bee gay. And then this one, this was also something that like I saw on Ravelry. I don't remember who it's by, unfortunately, but I just, again, whoops, used up some scrap yarns to make the stripes and gave him little bobble feet every couple rows and the big old eyes and two little antennas. These are really fun. I might make some more of these in the future. And then my favorite bug I made, this one was entirely free-handed, but I'm considering writing the pattern down. Is the little ladybug with the little legs and stuff. Yeah, I just think it's super cute. Look at the big eyes and the little antennas. I love it. It's so cute. I might make another one for me, but I don't know. Got some more plushies here. We have one of these chickens, which again, there is a pattern for these, but it's a circle and then some rows and then sew it shut. So like, I don't want to say you don't need to buy the pattern, because if you want to support the pattern maker, definitely do that. But I see something that is made of a circle and I go, that is a circle. It is a circle. So, you know, chicken made of a circle. Very cute, very fun. I have sold a couple of these in the past, so I figured I'll make another one to have at my booth this time around. And then this one is a little spider. I did the double strand technique again with some purple from the mandala cakes and a multicolor yarn. I don't remember the name of this pattern or who it's by, but I'll put that on the screen. And yeah, there's this one. This was one of the ones that I was like, I don't feel like doing sewing right now, so I'll look up no-sew patterns. And then it was a no-sew pattern, but it had a few techniques that, to me, I'd rather just sew them on at that point. So yeah, here's the little spider. Again, nothing against the pattern creator, but just the mindset I was in when I made this guy. I remember being like, yeah, we're not sewing it, but there's a lot of hand-eye coordination going on here. But yeah, here's a little spider. It's in the spooky season. Here's a little cat that I freehanded. I used to make a bunch of these, and I haven't in a little bit. I tried to use, again, the scraps of my mandala cakes in the By Pride colors and adjacent, you know, color scheme for this one. So there's that guy. And then I did do some wearables. Let me show you the scarves before that though. So this is another one. I think this one turned out great. I should do more like this. The problem is just going to come down to how much of the scraps I have. I basically double stranded the mandalas. Actually this is triple stranded, I think. So I did just like a rainbow, but it's very chunky and very soft because the mandala yarn is awesome. So I might do some more of these if I have colors that are conducive to pride flags. If not, I'll just leave it in my stash for a little while longer, and we'll see what I make with that in the future. And then this was one of the first things I've made specifically for this market, which again, it's a gay pride scarf, but I did the V-stitch, and I used this like confetti yarn on the outer 2 rows, and I gave it some tassels because I haven't done a tassel scarf in a while, and tassels are a good way to use up scrap yarn too. So if you do like a pink scarf and then you have like just a small ball of the yarn left, just make some tassels and throw them on the end of that. But yeah, there's that one. This is a hat. This one is made out of wool yarn. This is another one where I got the yarn and used it like within the week that I got it, so I was pretty proud of that. If I can find the pattern, I'll put it on screen, but it's like a pretty simple free pattern. And again, I had a little bit left, so I made a pom-pom, put that on the top, and yeah, it's either a slouchy hat or you can fold the brim up and it'll be more of a fitted hat. And then this one, there's another one of these too. This is by Little John Yarn. It's a fall beanie hat. So I made one with brown and like fall, like autumn pumpkin orange. And then I had some Red Heart stripe yarn left, and I just specifically only used the fall colors section of it to make another one. So that's really fun. And there's 2 of them, and one of them is like changing colors all the way around. I also made a set of a puff stitch hat. Again, the pom-pom used up the rest of the yarn, and this like puff stitch infinity scarf thing. Let me show you a little bit better here. These are really soft too. This is one of those yarns that's like made to be a scarf because it's so soft, and just like this specific colorway is really pretty too. I remember I was working on this one, and like every 10 minutes my mom would come over and be like, "That's so pretty, I love those colors." And I'm like, "I know you do, because they're like my mom's favorite colors." But yeah, so here's a little set. I'm thinking of doing this one as like a, like you buy it as a set. And then we got 2 more things in here. Yep, only 2, and these are again specifically pride items. They are little shrug thingies, so I'll try them on so you can see. These took a surprising amount of time, but again, I think it was because like this yarn in particular is a DK weight. The other one I use is a worsted weight, and that one did work up faster. But yeah, let's stand up and show you what these look like. So it's kind of like a little shrug thing, like a crop top with sleeves on it. So yeah, there's that one. And then I really like how this one came out. It's a little bit shorter of a crop, but like I said, it's not really a shirt. It's more of like a cover. Like you'd probably wear it over a tank top, but I really like how this one came out. I like the length a bit better for myself. But yeah, that's what I've been working on. I'm hoping to make some more plushies and stuff in the coming days before my market. But yeah, that's where I've been. thank you for watching the whole video. If you did, if you want to see more of my videos, you know where to find them. You know how to use YouTube. You know what buttons to press to tell YouTube you like my videos and that you want to see more. But yeah, I'm still making things. I'm still okay. I'm all good. I've survived the surgery. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!